If you're gonna go in and do it, I mean, you gotta do it right.
Just having somebody that's approachable, like with questions or ideas, and you know you're gonna get honest feedback, that's so empowering as an agent.
Your goals should be so big that without God, you can't get them done.
Welcome back to Bourbon with the Bluegrass Babes. Today we have Raquel here with us. We are so excited for you to be here. So first question we always kind of dive into is just who are you and what do you kind of do? What do you dabble in?
Oh my goodness. So who am I, Raquel? That's for sure. And this is really cool. I looked it up and it's a cool question because I'm like all the things, you know, so I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I own a real estate office, so that makes me a broker. I have a team, you know, I have a large team, so I still do real estate. I'm a leader, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. I'm like a friend, I like all those.
I know you dabble in so much. That's why I didn't like introduce your title because you have several titles.
Absolutely, absolutely. We do investment properties. I'm working in the commercial spaces now. I'm a real estate commissioner, so you know, you'll have to be good. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I actually am on the commission. I'm on multiple boards. So
yeah.
all the things. So it's lots of fun.
Oh, yeah, you keep busy, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Of all those things, real estate is my primary career. I've been licensed for 21 years now. So that's exciting. Guide Realty, my company, has actually been open for, I'll get that mixed up, at 2008. Who's going to do the math for me?
Okay, so it's been a while.
It's been quite a few years, yeah. In that time, we went from a small office, it was just my mom and I initially. So we went from a small office to a couple of years ago during COVID. We talked about COVID a little bit. I'm like, you know, I'm sitting here, everybody else is at home, you know, I didn't have any traffic getting to the office. Let's do this, you know, let's grow, let's expand. So we went from, I think at that time I had 8 or 9 agents. And right now I have 39. So
wow.
We just opened an office in Louisville. I've got a remote agent in North Carolina, a broker agent. So all the things, all the things. Yeah.
It's a big jump from, you know, 2008 to COVID 2020, you know, being smaller and stuff and then growing that quick. That's a big step in a few years. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
And I think I would say with anything, so it's just making that decision, you know, make the decision, let's grow, let's do this. And once you decide and you commit, it's like,
it just takes off. Yeah, it just takes off.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love for you to tell us a little bit about how you got started. So it sounds like your mom was also in the business. Did that influence you?
Yes, my mother was in the business, and I love to say that my mother made me do it because I didn't want to do it. So everyone look at me. So the advice I give everyone is listen to your mother. Do exactly what they say.
Sometimes mom knows best.
Your mother, I mean, you're going to get there quickly or take a long time, but you, at the end of the day, do what your mother says, you know. But my mother, and it wasn't her first career. I didn't grow up in real estate. She worked at IBM for a long time. She actually left IBM and opened, she was the entrepreneurial one. She opened another business. She did that for a while, and employees like bothered her, you know. They can be a little challenging, right? She had too many employees. She sold her business, and then she got into real estate. And at that time, I was in finance. I was a financial analyst for a sales company, and I was just a spreadsheet girl, like numbers and spreadsheet. I mean, I used to say I couldn't pay a bill if it wasn't in my spreadsheet. I needed everything to be in my spreadsheet. So my mother just kept saying, Raquel, you know, you could do this. You know, that was the last hot market, right?
Yeah.
She was like, oh, you can do this. You'll be great. You
Time.
should see those people. Well, no, 2008 was Guide Realty. I got my license actually in 2002.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, you could do this. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. I was like, if I was going to try, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And I did, and it stuck. You know, I was just like, here we are. Fast forward, like I said, my mom is actually the one that we were at a larger company, a local company at the time. And my mom just one day, she was like, you know, I think I'm going to open my own office. I saw this office space, and I'm like, what? She was like, well, what, do you think you want to come? I'm like, why wouldn't I go with you, right?
Right.
So that is actually how Guide Realty was birthed. my mother, since, she actually had cancer, she had lung cancer and passed away. So when she passed away, it was like, here's me and Guide Realty and a few agents. And I was a great agent. I was really a great real estate agent, very consistent. I had lots of business, but I had to decide, am I going to be a real estate agent or am I going to have a company? So then I was like, okay. Well, first I'm pregnant, let's wait. I was pregnant at the time. I'm like, let's have the baby, let's readjust, let's pay some bills. But ultimately, I'm like, I wanted Guide Realty to be a thing on its own, not just to be me. And that's really how that happened.
I love it.
It kind of sounds like you're carrying the baton in
Yes.
your mother's honor a little bit, like honoring her legacy.
Absolutely.
What do you think you would want your legacy to be? Like, where do you see this going?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing that I would like other people to take away, especially women, and I speak a lot to women and to women of color in particular, but especially women, it's like, you can do, it's like we put so many limitations on ourselves. So like when I said, we had a small office and I had lots of production and I was consistent, I was making money, I was paying, all those things, and people look at you as if that's success.
Yeah.
And it was, it was great success, but I knew, in my gut, I could do more.
There could be more. Yeah.
I knew that I could be more, but I was scared of that. I didn't reach for it, and this is probably a sexist statement, but the guys, the men, they think they can do everything immediately. It's like, oh, this is your goal, and we talk ourselves down from it.
Every time
it's
we get that comfort, we're like, okay, my bills are paid, I'm still saving, I'm doing this. So like you said, I've hit that success. And so you don't want to risk it to get the next level. And guys are just like, I'm already there.
Let's just
it's
go.
not like
just
the
do
step.
it.
It's just like, I'm getting there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just like spreading that message to everyone, to anybody that wants to get into entrepreneurship. Like I said, I do some coaching, and I mostly coach, other small brokers or like larger team leads, or I coach now business women that don't have anything to do with real estate.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, make your goal bigger, make it bigger. You got it. You've got that. We are skilled. We have all the fundamentals. We've got all those things, but you have to make it bigger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of being an entrepreneur and owning your own business? Because especially you've actually worked in a large company. So what do you love about it?
Yeah. I think my favorite part really is when I say the independence. It's not the flexibility. There is zero flexibility.
It's all day, every day.
The people that say that, I always joke, even in real estate, what do they say? People get into real estate for the flexibility and the money, and they get out of real estate because of the flexibility and the lack of money, right? It's like you can't have all those things. But the independence and you have an opportunity to write your story. You get to make the path. And it's like there's not someone always there telling you, this is what's next, this is what you need to do. Now, as you said, that's scary, and I mess up a lot. It's like, oh, I've got this great idea. You should see, you've seen my office. I write on the whole wall. I've got these big pieces of paper. And I'm like, this is it, this is the one. And I'm like, that one fell a little flat, right?
I didn't have all of it there.
But you have the ability to change and morph into something different at any time. And that's the part of entrepreneurship I really enjoy.
Well, and something that you just said, I think is really inspiring, and I wish that more women had that mentality. You're not afraid to fail. You literally just said, something failed, but you just keep going.
You have to. And I think that comes from even if you look back at your story, I look back and I'm just I'm this happy person, I'm good luck. But if I write it out, my story has some stuff in it. It's everything wasn't exactly the way it should be, but I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be.
Yep.
So sometimes I look at it and I'm like, okay, I had to do those things. I had to go through those spaces. So what's going to stop me?
Exactly.
What is going to stop you? So that's what I tell myself anyway.
But it's believable. What you tell yourself, they say you can tell when don't follow through on those affirmations that you tell yourself. You know what I mean? Or if you sit there and you're telling yourself these negative affirmations instead of positive ones, like you're gonna live through that. Like it's gonna influence. Yes, you manifest whether it's good or bad.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I work really hard. I'm really transparent. I try to be honest, and I'm great with affirmations. But you get in spaces. There are days where the stress. And and the pressure and the reality of what's in front of you, it's hard to say, oh, it's great, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But when you have people following you, you know, when you're a leader, when you're a mother, you know, you have to
you learn to put
turn
the face
it on anyway.
Sometimes. Yes.
And you gotta move forward and get it done. And whether you want to do that or not, I think it's still the same thing. It's like, okay, we feel that we're forced and we're faking it. You know, we got to put our face on and go in there anyway. But it's really the same thing. It's like, oh, it's like the fake it till you make it. It's the affirmation. It's like, oh, I'm here and I did it. You know, I did it anyway.
Well, I can even tell, like, when we always do monthly meetings, like we always do at least one monthly meeting with our branch to kind of just go over numbers and everything. And I can tell, like, if I don't like put on the face or like have a good attitude and stuff, it dwells through your other people in your office.
Changes,
you know, if you can't like emphasize like stay positive and you know just keep doing what you need to do, like
being responsible for your energy.
Yes. It really dwells over into the people that you're with. So
Absolutely.
I feel not obligated, but like you need to.
It is
an obligation.
Who's
like,
going to do it? You know, if you have that gift, you know, and I always talk about the gifts that God gives you. If you have them, use them. You know, everybody can't do it. They can't turn it on. They can't change a room. But if you have the ability to do that, whether it's in an office, whether you're leading, whether it's at home, you know, whether it's with your kids or with your friends, I mean, we get gifts, you know, and I do think that we're obligated to use them.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's true leadership too, when you're responsible for how you enter a room and influence other people.
What you're leaving in that room, the energy that you're leaving. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
So if you had, and I feel like you kind of touched on this a little bit, but if you had one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self or somebody younger in your position, what would that piece of advice be?
Or even one of the women that you coach.
Or even,
like maybe if there's one piece of advice that you seem to find that comes up more often than others.
Yeah. Lee's is better. I have a better answer for that than that.
Okay, we'll go with that one then.
All those things I would have told myself not to do, right? And really, I look back and, like I said, we made lots of mistakes. If you guys, when we have more time, I'll actually tell you, you know, I joke about my journey through college and colleges and, you know, how long it took me and all the things I could have done that I didn't, right? I had more majors than years in college, so that was like
same. I collected degrees.
I
didn't know what to do.
Just trying to figure it out. Just trying to figure it out. So some of those things I'm like, oh, did I waste too much time? But again, the things you collected and the person I became was really because of that. But back to what you said, what I would tell other women, other business owners, the kids, I tell my son this. I'm really like, you need to set big goals. You know, I read a book, it's called Chase the Lion. I think it's Mark Batterson, I can't remember, but it's called Chase the Lion. And the whole purpose of it, the whole point of it, a premise anyway, is your goals should be so big that without God, you can't get them done. I mean, if I could set a goal that I can do, like without any outside help, I could have done
That's
it
just
anyway.
a task for the day.
It's just really a to-do list. You know? So we set these numbers, we set these goals, we make this, you know, we have these ambitions that sound stupid, that don't make, oh, you can't get it. There's no way I'm going to get it. And then you know you're getting into the right space. So I say, don't sell yourself short on your goals first, because if you don't have it big enough, you're never going to get anywhere near it. If you fall short a little bit, oh well, you know, you still, look how far you are, look how far you progress. So I really say that about setting your goals big. I'm a big planner. You know, I told you guys I had a spreadsheet for everything, but I realized I was an over planner. Yeah, you could have the plan, you could have all the strategies. It's not going to go that way.
Nope.
It's not.
Never
Right?
No.
And when it doesn't go that way and it's your expectation for it not to go that way, you can still be right. It's like, okay, I had this plan. I knew something was going to happen. So now I'm ready for it. So
Exactly.
just planning that your expectation is things are going to change. They're not going to be right. And I go back to what's going to stop you? You know, what's going to stop you? Yeah.
There's one thing that I just want to ask, just because I know a little bit about you and your company. How do you keep such a fun culture? I mean, you guys are always
Have you ever been to
doing.
their Thursday night?
Yes,
Oh
you guys
my
are always
gosh,
having
it's
like
much fun.
so many events, and you guys have one of the coolest office. I love your all's office. Everything's
And you wouldn't
glass.
think it looks like that from the outside.
No,
It's just
and then
like
you
this
walk
big
in.
warehouse-looking thing, and then you walk in, and it's like, oh my gosh, yes, it's beautiful.
Yes, well, two things. One, I could tell you it's genuine.
Yeah.
So it really is, and the office space, I can give full credit to my husband.
Okay.
He actually has a commercial. I can't give him a plug.
Of
you know.
course.
So Elaine Allen, his commercial construction company, he does all retail fit up. I do still owe him money. I do. He still occasionally sends me an overdue invoice.
Does he?
Do you know that?
I love
What
that.
kind of relationship is that? You know,
I love
I'm
that,
gonna
though.
tell him, you know, just to remind
He's
me.
keeping that in the plan, though.
Yeah,
Just
he
to
is.
remind me,
This
I'm
is
like,
the plan.
you need to write that off. You need to write that off.
need to give up on
this
that
is
one
all
already.
you get, and this is all you get. But they do a great job, and with most things that we do, it's like if you're going to go in and do it,
Do it right.
I mean, you got to do it right.
Yeah.
You got to do it right. You got to do it big, or just don't do it. You know, stay in your place of comfort. But I think it's because like we come in every day, and the space helps. I used
is
to,
the best
space,
and
yeah.
just being in real estate before, you know, and especially post COVID, people think an office doesn't matter.
You gotta have
they
that
think it
atmosphere.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
And technically, maybe it doesn't. You can work anywhere, but we really tried to create something that when you walk in, you're in a different place.
Yes.
You have a different energy. Our first office space that my mom picked, it was close to her house. She was driving by it every day. And the landlord at the time, we're still great friends, wonderful people. But she picked it, she had me look at it. I was kind of like, I mean, it's so traditional and stuff.
It's an office.
But she
Yeah.
was my mother. So
Yeah, listen to mom.
Clearly,
Listen to
we
mom.
were. I think she had already signed the lease. You know, she was asking my opinion, but it didn't matter, right?
He was just letting you see it.
But when we were there, I kept saying every time I walked in, it was a really nice office, but it felt like a library. You know, it felt like you should whisper.
Yes.
It had wallpaper. It had big, you know, mahogany furniture and stuff. So every time I felt like I was in the library, I was like, I need energy
Yes.
because. You know, you got to bring it or it's got to be there.
Yeah.
And so I just think because I feel that my marketing director, Tora Carr, I mean, I don't know what can happen that would take her off her game, you know. And I know everything's not perfect in our lives, right? But when we walk in those doors, it's like, okay, we're here,
Yes.
we're about to make it happen. And we owe that to whoever walks in the door. And I think once we started doing that, it's just fun, you
Yeah.
know. And we have a bar in the middle of the office.
Yes.
So, I mean, if we're not fun naturally, it's happy hour. You know? We will make it happen. Make it happen.
love it.
It's a good deal. Good
It
deal.
is that you can, like you said, you can literally feel the energy when you walk in there.
It's
Everybody's
infectious.
just, it is.
Yeah,
Every time
yeah.
I've been in
So
there, it's like
infectious,
that.
and it's always so welcoming. And like, you know, where I was in the real estate industry, like there are some places that can be very intimidating, very dry, very stiff. Never got that from you all. I mean, like just enjoyed, you know, genuinely enjoyed being there.
Yeah,
So thank
yeah.
you for creating such a fun culture
Well,
for
you are
everyone,
welcome.
you
You are
know?
welcome. Yeah, it's purely selfish. Like I get to walk in there every day, and it's fun. And we have such a diverse group of people, and that was one of the larger challenges for me as well. Like at first, the group of people that we had, like every one of them was either related to me or they were my mom's friends.
like a
or,
family reunion,
You know, it was just like I already knew you.
Yeah.
But now I bring in different people. I don't know a lot of the agents the way I knew them before.
Yeah.
I didn't know them until they walked in and we talked, and I'm like, oh, it's really great. And they're so different from me, you know? And I love that space. I love, you know, I keep joking about how old I am, but you got to cut all that out. You know, I am. I'll be 50 this summer.
Oh my God, you are lying.
Yes, and I'm having a big party. I'll tell you guys will all be invited. But I'll be
We're
50.
coming.
I'll be 50 this summer, right? So I'm like, okay, but I have so much energy and youth and stuff around me. And the other thing, and we won't mention it, my first real estate office, at the time, you know, it was the most established, popular office, you know, in the place. And they interviewed you and you had to be full time. And I just remember feeling like, one, it was stuffy, you know, it was always that, although I have great friends, you know, that I made and relationships I still have. But the other thing I always remembered is like, no matter what energy I had or what great idea I had or what I thought I wanted to do, you know, I could go to one of those experienced agents and be like, oh, I want to do, and they're like, oh no, that's not how it's done, you know, it doesn't work that way.
It was that way or no way.
It's not, you know, and that just like kills your spirit.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So I worked really hard. I mean, I know the foundations and I know there's fundamentals that don't change.
Right.
I teach them, you know, I preach them, we talk about it. But I love the different perspectives that can come in. I love the different ideas. And I'm like, oh, really? You know, and we figure out how to incorporate those. The only thing I will do is I'm like, well, make sure you do the fundamentals first.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like, all the other things are great and exciting and I love them. But let's, you know, you got to get the foundation and let's do the other things. So, but I've been real intentional about, you know, accepting and you know, really.
And that makes a huge difference in a leader. Like, there's nothing that can kind of like crush somebody's entrepreneurial spirit or passion for something more than bringing it to somebody that they look up to and them just being like, no, you know, like there's nothing that will crush it more than that.
And just having somebody that's approachable, like with questions or ideas, and you know you're going to get honest feedback. That's so empowering as an agent because it's a kind of a lonely business.
It is.
We're out here hunting and eating what we kill, and so it's really nice to have that camaraderie.
Well, I have glass walls, so
They're really cool.
I can't hide.
You're feeling approachable.
Here I am.
She just closes the door.
And when we were doing the design, there was more than one person that asked me that. Are you sure you want to be up here in front? Like with these, everybody, I mean, are you going to get anything done? And I'm like, yes, I'm going to be right. I don't want anything to happen in this office that I don't get to see or be a part of or excite, you know. So it can be challenging to focus sometimes, especially when you don't want to do the thing you got to do. You know, if I'm in and I'm ready and I want to get it done, but if it's like financial or paying bills or budgetary or, you know, something like that, it's like, hey, who's that? So yeah.
Do you see the bar over there?
Yeah. Just bring me something. Absolutely. So that's good. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us. And this has been fantastic learning more about you and Guide. And I highly recommend if you guys have any community events or any networking events, go. They are 10 out of 10, so much fun. It really is just a fantastic atmosphere. And I just feel like you all are just so welcoming.
Well, thank you.
You know, and you guys are always just doing such fun stuff.
The last Thursday of every month is when you do the happy hour thing,
yes,
right?
Thursday is the last Thursday of every month. And yes, everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Always, let's do this. We have that, and you know, we do trainings, and I really do mean everyone is welcome.
You do.
And when I say that, you know, even just in the, like I said, everybody doesn't come polished. Everybody doesn't already come successful. Everybody doesn't already come arrived, you know, where they need to be. And that's okay with us. You know, that's okay with me. I'm going to work with you. We're going to make it happen. But the other thing is I don't have to fix you or change you. No. Right? You know, you come as you are. You bring your people, just like your people aren't, I mean, we all have family and friends and circles, and it's not my job to change somebody to be more like me.
To fit the mold.
Yeah, it's like, be the best you, be the best you. And that's just fun, you know, it's relaxing, it's empowering. And so that's what we do. That's what we do.
I love it. You guys are great at it.
The building itself, the Compass Center, we lease that out as well. So professional development, we do mixers, the appraisers, they do their CE training there. So we do a lot of those things as well because it's a lot of space. And when we built it, the whole thing is like, we want to bring people in. We want to bring people in the community. We're hosting a HOA meeting there tomorrow.
Nice.
So just to bring people into
Yeah,
those spaces.
it's a good spot for it.
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's plenty of room for everyone. I love it.
Absolutely,
I love it.
absolutely.
Well, we'll see you on Thirsty Thursday.
All right. You know, that's next Thursday.
It is,
So
it is.
we are
Well,
there.
and typically those are the days we do our recordings, like last
Yeah, I
Thursday.
know.
So we
So
left
that's
it,
why
yeah.
this month we just moved it up because we just had so much stuff for the last week. So we may have stuff on next
Might
week.
have to- we're gonna need a drink.
We're
I
gonna,
think.
we'll probably need a drink by then.
Absolutely.
So-
If you can't wait till Thursday, you know.
We'll just-
stop
yeah.
by
I hear the
bar.
bar's
I need a
always
tour.
open.
And the
So
bar is always open. The bar is always open.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys for having
no,
me.
thank
Thank you for
you.
coming on. We appreciate it.
Are you falling behind on your taxes? Do you dread sorting through receipts? Are you confident your business is fully compliant? Does the thought of sitting down and doing taxes make you anxious? If so, let us help you get a leg up on your records and finances. We can be reached at 859-576-0527 or submit@leguppro.com. Reach out today and let LegUp be your one-stop shop for all your accounting needs.